Hare Krishna. Am I audible on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay. Hare Krishna. So, we'll start with Mangalacharan prayers. I'll share the screen. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutah Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय Okay, so we are discussing the chapter 10.78, which is the killing of Dantavakra, but we have gone much deeper into it. I think some of you have been following the series. So it's a series of events, and the main event that occurred, which is not part of the chapter per se, but after the killing of Dantavakra, Lord Krishna goes to Vraja. So almost there's a certain theme that has been going on for so there has been certain theme that has been going on for almost a year that we have been covering, which is the started from Kurukshetra Milan, or the meeting of Sri Krishna with the Gopis and especially with Srimati Radharani in Kurukshetra. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we discussed that how one of the important points of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam is the focus on absorption on Sri Krishna of the Gopis. They are the highest, topmost devotees, and there is absolutely no one who matches them in absorption, in their complete absorption, dedication of their heart, mind, body, everything to Sri Krishna. So, and that whole aspect is very deeply dealt with, and with all the other devotees of Vraj, his parents, Nanda and Yashoda, his friends, and all the residents of Vraja has been dealt with very deeply. And the first half of 10th canto is all about the sweet pastimes in Vraja, but the second half is in Dwarka, but in sort of like you view a negative frame, like you view the frame in negative. The second half is Dwarka Līlā, but if you view that in a sort of a, it's showing the absence of Vraj. And it is all about the separation that is felt by Sri Krishna and the Gopis as well, in their love for each other. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, when Krishna leaves Vrindavan, he never comes back. There is no chapter, no episode, nothing in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto where Krishna comes back to Vrindavan. The closest that things get to is when Krishna meets the Gopis, all the Vrajvasis, in Kurukshetra. So that is what we had discussed almost 1 year ago. And that whole sort of pent-up mood erupts in Kurukshetra when Lord Krishna meets first his parents, Nanda and Yashoda, and then the Gopis. Of course, there are very small, very brief one-word mentions, which we have also discussed, about the meeting of, or the going back of Sri Krishna to Vrindavan in the first chapter, first canto, 11th chapter, 9th verse, 1:11:9. But that's just one single word. Of course, in other Puranas, Padma Puran, etc., and many other accompanying literatures written by our previous acharyas in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, there is a lot of description of the meeting of Krishna returning to Vraja. Sri Gopal Champu has that. The commentaries of the previous acharyas, Sri Jiva Goswami, on the Srimad Bhagavatam, Vaishnav Toshni has that. And those are taken from Puranas like Padma Puran and so on. So in other places, there are descriptions, but Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our mool, our basic, like the foundational, it's the rock solid foundation of our Sampradaya, Krishna does not come back to Vrindavan, except for that one word in first canto, 11th chapter, 9th verse. So it is mentioned in other Puranas. And so much of the Srimad Bhagavatam is based on sort of this understanding is hidden in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not that it is speculative. Acharyas are speculating or anything. This understanding is hidden in sort of one word areas in the rest of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Last time we had discussed one word. It was viveśa, where Krishna, after killing in the 15th verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, 78th chapter. So let me share the screen. Oh, it's already shared. No, it's not shared. So last time or some time back, we discussed 10th canto, 78th chapter, 15th verse, I think. Yeah. viveśālaṅkṛtāṁ purīm. That after completing all these līlās, vritascha vrishni parivarair viveśālaṅkṛtāṁ purīm. That after completing all the līlā of killing Dantavakra. So it is mentioned that Sri Krishna entered Vraja after killing Dantavakra. But here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no such mention. And this Puri, after completing all the Leela, along with the Vrishni Parivar, the family of the Vrishnis with his Yadu family, he, viveśa means to enter. Alaṅkṛtāṁ means the decorated. Purīm, city. And this Puri means Dwarkapuri. So you can see here Puri is Dwarkapuri. So if you see this line, Vrishni Parivaraihi viveśa-alaṅkṛtāṁ purīm. He entered the decorated Dwarka. So the translation also is the same. The Supreme Lord entered his festively decorated capital city in the company of the most eminent Vrishnis, which is Dwarka. But this viveśa, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes, has a special meaning. It's viveśa means a delayed entry. Pravesha means immediate entry. Vivesh means delayed entry. Delayed means, he did some other work and then entered. Or he finally entered. So after the killing of Dantavakra, finally he entered. Okay. So sometimes my wife, sends me on errands. So then, she knows it's a small errand, but I come home after 2 hours. So what did you do for such a long time? Oh, I met a friend and then I did this or that. And then finally I came. So that part is like skipped. So what did you do today? I did groceries for you. But I skipped the part that, my other sort of escapades, so to say. So like that. So that is the one word, viveśa, on which in the Bhagavatam, where that includes that, oh, he went to Vraja, spent 2 months there, and then came to Dwarka. So it's like these one word things but our acharyas expand on it in other literatures. So we covered this in great detail, how he goes to Vraj, spends time, and so on. So today we will look at another such instance of some aspects just hidden in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so this is one aspect. So let us discover some more things. Okay. So last week we began the discussion or we had a discussion, not began, but we had and we completed a discussion on this topic, that the sameness and difference, simultaneous difference and sameness of Krishna and Krishna's names. So we all know that. Oh, am I sharing?
I don't see a sharing. So yeah, now I can see.
Did someone had a hand raised? I didn't realize.
Oh, no, that's for sharing, but I can see now.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
So we discussed this topic of the simultaneous oneness and difference. Like if the gopis were so much in separation of Sri Krishna, why couldn't they take simply the name of Sri Krishna or meditate on Krishna in their heart and be satisfied? So that is a question that comes up. It is certainly possible to take the name. And we say so much that abhinnatvam nama namino, that Krishna's name and Krishna himself are non-different. Abhinna, nama and namino. Namino means the one who is being named, which means the person. So there is no difference between person and the name in the case of Krishna. But why did the gopis want Krishna only and were not satisfied with the name? So we discussed this in detail, that there is aprakaṭa līlā and prakaṭa līlā, the manifest pastimes and the eternal pastimes that are always going on. And it is the absolute reality, absolute truth is that there is no difference between the name and the named or the person and the person whose name is being taken. But in the Prakat Leela, there is a certain reason why the gopis are not satisfied with simply taking the name. So, first of all, there is no separation, we discussed last time, between Krishna and his dearmost devotees of Vraj in the Aprakat Leela. So one point I wanted to clarify, there is separation, but there is temporary separation on a daily basis. When Krishna goes to the forest with the cows, then there is that temporary separation. Mother Yashoda and the gopis who stay back, they feel separation for the daytime from Krishna, but then he comes back in the evening. But this long-term separation, what is known as Sudura Pravas, is absent in the spiritual world or in the Aprakat Leela as well. So that kind of separation is not there. The daily level of separation is there. That is more tolerable. And the gopis easily tolerate that separation by some kind of longing to see him back, with sort of a samutkantha, knowing that he is coming back. It's just that I have to somehow get through the day. There is no uncertainty whether he will come back or not. There is certainty that he will come, and there is certainty he will come and when he will come, both. So now it's just a matter of, and they were busy in serving Krishna during the time, getting preparations ready, getting his dinner ready, and so many other things. But long-term separation is not there. It is only there in Prakat Leela. So even in Prakat Leela, why do the gopis not be satisfied with simply taking the name? So we discussed 3 reasons for this. So the first reason was to please Krishna. So everything that the gopis do, everything, even their breathing, their blinking of the eyes, their mere existence, staying alive, their whole existence is to serve Krishna. So to increase that fire of separation, and then that culminates in that such a equal amount of jubilation or joy or bliss in the meeting later. So they do have a meeting. Now in the Bhagavatam, there is Kurukshetra meeting, and then at other places we have the entire meeting in Vraja. So that whole, to experience that height of union, that peak of union, a long separation is necessary. So that is first reason, to please Krishna in that way. Also to teach us about the unconditional nature of Krishna Prema, with no certainty whether he will come back at all or not. How much they were completely dedicated to Krishna. There was not even a moment when they forgot Krishna. In fact, their love and their meditation on Krishna, meditation not like a jnani, but like their just absorption in Krishna, became deeper and deeper and deeper as time passed. So that level of absorption in Krishna, to teach us about it, and to give devotees, pure devotees, a lot of topics to discuss and meditate on with all these kind of pastimes. So these are the reasons why in the Prakat Leela there is separation. In the Prakat Leela, what also happens is that the gopis, now that's the other aspect we went into, the gopis reject the spiritual conception of Sri Krishna. So we spent a lot of time, we discussed chapter 26 of the 10th canto. So that chapter includes, so all the chapters that focus on the rejection by the Vrajvasis of the spiritual understanding of who Krishna is. So that we discussed also. So this whole sort of is building up like a theme starting from the 82nd chapter of Kurukshetra Milan. Then we discussed 26th chapter. What is 26th chapter? 26th chapter is in part of Govardhan Līlā, where the Vrajvasis begin to actually wonder, is this little blue boy a human being or more than a human being? Because he ended up lifting the Govardhan hill. So that doubt very strongly comes into the mind. So that whole sort of a tension as to whether Krishna is human or Bhagwan. And constantly the understanding that he is a human wins. That is this point. Gopis and all the Vrajvasis included, Gopis are just the height of among the Vrajvasis, also they are the highest. They reject, there's this constant theme of rejection of the spiritual conception or the acceptance of the human aspect of Krishna, Naratva. That Krishna is just a human. So that is so that's why we discussed 26th chapter. But then they thought, okay, even Ravana and Hiranyakashipu were able to lift mountains. So maybe he is just a very, very powerful person. If a demon can lift, even a demigod, devata can lift, need not have to be Bhagavan. So we came to that level in 26th chapter. But then in 28th chapter, what happens? That is when Varun Dev kidnaps or captures Nanda Maharaj. And Krishna goes to release Nanda Maharaj. And Varun Dev, who is himself a demigod, he worships Krishna and clearly just says from his mouth that you are Narayan. So Nanda Maharaj is witnessing that. So he gets the shock of his life. Now Varun Dev has himself called him as Narayan, Parabrahma, Yogeshwara. All these are names of the Supreme Lord. So then he realizes my little sweet Krishna is actually Narayan. Then he comes and tells all the Vrajvasis, hey, you know what I heard and what I witnessed? So they all become very happy. Our little chokra is not a, chokra means like a good for nothing village boy. He's literally good for nothing in their eyes. Cannot do anything right. Even he cannot steal properly. He gets caught. So that person is not good for nothing, but he is the supreme Bhagwan. So that we discussed 26th chapter. And I think after 26th chapter, we came to 78th chapter, isn't it? I don't think we discussed anything else. Yeah, maybe we did or we didn't, whatever. So that is how, so the whole theme sort of has been connected to this aspect of amplifying the naratva or the human aspect of Bhagavan in the view of the Vrajvasis. So same thing is happening here, that because they consider Krishna to be human, they don't consider the name and the named to be the same. They want the actual person. And they are not just, the name is not enough. It's not that they are not taking the name. We will see they are so absorbed in the name and thoughts, but that's not satisfactory. It's not abhinna. Abhinna means equal, or bhinna means different. Abhinna means completely equal. So they don't see that equality. Okay. Now this does not mean that gopis in the prakat līlā are materially conditioned. They are not acting as, now Bhagwan, they are seeing Bhagwan, we all understand, is transcendental. But we can think that, are the gopis transcendental, or are they yes, in the spiritual world, they may be transcendental, but in the material world, they are thinking like as if Bhagwan is human. So are they just humans? So that question also can come. So like this, several questions can arise in this whole sort of series of discussions that we have had over the last many, many months, over all these chapters, all these questions can arise. What is really the difference between prakat and aprakat līlā? Why does Krishna, and then Krishna is also a little crooked. He knows the mood of the gopis, but still he advises them to do mind control and to tolerate and to see the big picture that, oh, we are just living entities. You shouldn't get distressed if there is separation. We are all, you can, just think about me, meditate on me. That way you will get peace. And also between these two, separation and union, there is so much suffering in separation. There was so much fun in union. Which is better? Why do the gopis desire to see Krishna directly, not within the mind? We have partially discussed many of these things, but I'm just saying these are the questions that can come up. One big question is, why do the gopis want Krishna to come to Vraj? Why can't they go to Dwarka and meet him? Or what to speak about meet him? Why can't they just go there and live? And then they can be together with Krishna all the time. What is the big fuss? Are they kind of arrogant or something like, very stubborn? No, you have to come here. I will not go there. What is this stubbornness? So that also question comes. And are gopis in the prakat līlā transcendental or human? And many other questions can come. So we will focus on these questions today. We'll continue a little bit with the discussion of why do gopis desire to see Krishna directly, not within the mind or in his name. And why do gopis want Krishna in Vraj only, not in Dwarka or any other place, even Kurukshetra? So why are these things important? So for that, to discuss the first one, we will try to connect it back to the first place where we started this whole discussion, which is Kurukshetra Līlā. So today's topic will include a lot of verses, and since few of us are here in person, we can sing these verses and relish as well. So we will try to stitch. That's why I prepared some slides also, instead of just, speaking or doing the writing on the iPad. So let's sing this verse. This was the last verse of the 82nd chapter. So what is 82nd chapter? Kurukshetra Milan. In Kurukshetra, when Krishna meets all the Vrajvasis and the gopis, etc. So this is the last verse. So in the 82nd chapter, what happens is Krishna arrives in Kurukshetra, and first he meets, so many people are arriving in Kurukshetra because, again, there's a pretext to it. There is a solar eclipse, and there's a backstory with regard to Parshuramji and all that, how he created the 5 lakes and so on. And so Krishna also arrives, the who's who of the entire sort of kingdom, or the, arrives. And Krishna meets first all of them, then meets his parents as in the Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, and finally goes and meets the gopis. And that conversation is also very interesting, where Krishna says that same thing, I'll just, recap some of the things, like a completely like a irresponsible person. Like, have you forgotten me? He tells the gopis. So he's the king. He can go anywhere. They are small villagers. They cannot come. They have always been thinking of him. And he knows from the visits of Balramji and Uddhavji how much they are suffering. And he is the Supreme Lord as well. And the gopis also know that. They have that understanding, though it's at the very back of their mind, and Bhagavan knows everything. Still, he is taunting them by saying, have you forgotten me? So I feel it's a very irresponsible statement on the part of Sri Krishna. Anyway, like that, he continues to say that, oh, but I was busy. I couldn't come. It's okay. You could have just, you're all very devoted to me. You always keep thinking of me. You're very nice, perfect people. Like that, very kind of doesn't apologize at all for being away for such a long time. And all these, it may sound, quote unquote, in today's terms, politically correct statements, but they weren't providing any, they were very dry. There was no emotion, there was no love as such in those statements. It was hidden. So on the surface, it was very dry. And then the gopis also give a sort of a very dry looking response. And this is the one verse response of the gopis. And this is the last verse of the chapter. Now, one of the reasons why the conversations are at this level is because it is said that both Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, when the conversation was happening, they were not at a position to discuss these deep, sort of go into the deep emotions. Otherwise, it would have caused a lot of a very emotional situation for both of them. So much of the discussion was hidden in the meanings. It was in between the lines, as they say. So on the surface, it may seem very straightforward, but that is what our acharyas have done, which is what I am attempting to share with you. The sort of the in-between understanding where there is so much of rasa, so much of relishment. So this is the last verse as spoken by the gopis. We'll recite the verse, we'll read the meaning. I will bring out some points. We had discussed this already when we discussed 82nd chapter. So let's recite this verse so my wife can help with the recitation. And wherever the meter is not anushtup, which is the standard Bhagavad Gita meter, I have written the meter here also, Vasanta Tilakam. So let us try and recite in the room here, and those on the Zoom can hear and relish. Hopefully the audio will come. Ahushchatena linanabha padarvindam Yogeshwarairhidi vichintyam agādha-bodhaiḥ. Saṁsāra-kūpa patitottaranāvalambam. Geham jushamapi manasya udiyat sadanaha. So translation. So we'll have, Shalu Mataji, would you kindly read the translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you. The gopi spoke thus, Dear Lord, whose navel is just like a lotus flower, your lotus feet are the only shelter for those who have fallen into the deep well of material existence. Your feet are worshipped and meditated upon by great mystic yogis and highly learned philosophers. We wish that these lotus feet may also be awakened within our hearts, although we are only ordinary persons engaged in household affairs. Jai.
Thank you. So as you can see here, that the gopis are simply glorifying Sri Krishna. So they are saying Nalina ahushchate. Ahushcha means the gopis said, Te nalina nabha, like your navel is like a nabha is like a nalina, like a lotus flower. And padaravindam will connect with the last line, that manasya udiyat sadanaha. We would like in our mind, manasya, your padaravindam, your lotus feet, to sadanaha, udiyat, to arise or to stay in, arise and stay in our mind and heart always. And then they are saying that who all meditates on Sri Krishna? Yogeshwara, the most topmost. This Yogeshwara is not referring to Yogeshwara as Bhagwan, but Yogeshwaraihi, plural, all the topmost yogis. That's the meaning. Vichintyam, they always meditate on Sri Krishna, which is te in the first line. Agādha-bodhaiḥ. These people, these Yogeshwarais, are agādha-bodhaiḥ, means they are very, very deeply learned, scholarly, philosophical personalities. And they also, in their heart, meditate on the padaravinda, on the lotus feet of Bhagwan. So that is one point. So that's why some pieces I have, or some words I have colored, we'll focus on it. Okay. So agādha-bodhaiḥ means what? Highly learned, right? So I have colored this green also. Highly learned philosophers, which are the Yogeshwarai, great mystic yogis. And then the second point is that saṁsāra-kūpa patitottara-analambam, that saṁsāra-kūpa, those who are deeply in the kūpa means well of samsara, of material existence, those who are entangled in the deep well of material existence, for them your padaravindam, your lotus feet, are the only shelter. Okay. And then geham jusham, but we are geham jusham, means we are just ordinary household ladies, entangled in household affairs. But in any case, may your lotus feet always be present in our hearts. So that is the meaning of this verse. So let us go on. So this is the Gopis' response. Please keep that in mind. So agādha-bodhaiḥ, those who possess very deep wisdom and knowledge, that is agādha-bodhaiḥ. They are always perfectly absorbed in your meditation within their minds, right? Now you all have read Bhagavad Gita. You have heard so many classes on Bhagavatam. These people who are completely focused, they have done so much meditation on Bhagwan. What is their main characteristic? Their main characteristic is that they are always in a state of bliss. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kamshati, right? Always in a state of bliss. So Shri Jiva Goswami writes in the Krishna Sandarbha that these people are so much in bliss, in meditation of you, that they remain undisturbed even if you come in front of them. Because they are thinking of you. Yes, they are taking your name. They are focusing on your lotus feet. They are in bliss, which is very nice. But if you happen to come in front of them, their bliss will remain the same only. So what is the use? Better not come in front of them. Or there was no change in coming in front. You coming in front produced no extra change. They were so equanimous in their bliss. But we faint. This is the meaning, what they are saying. That they are agādha-bodha. We are not agādha, we are not deeply philosophical or anything. But we faint even on the thought of separation from you. So which means the Gopis do make a distinction of physical presence versus presence in the mind. Another point is implied here. So this is Gopis' response is just that verse. All this is coming out from the Acharya's commentaries. that the shelter of the lotus feet is what? So saṁsāra-kūpa is what? The deep well of material existence. So thinking of you or your lotus feet helps those who are drowning in the well of saṁsāra-kūpa, right? So that is a correct statement. But that verse does not say that does it help those who are drowning in the well of separation. So we are not drowning in the well of material existence, the Gopis say. We have left all material things behind. What we are drowning in is the well of separation. And meditating on your lotus feet is not helpful for that. Meditating on your lotus feet may help those who are drowning in material existence, not who are drowning in separation from you. To pick up from the well of separation, we need your physical presence. Meditating on you, nahi chalega. Doesn't work. Go on to say that meditating on you actually deepens our misery. The more we think of you, the more we suffer. And the last punchline is that we would like to be able to stop meditating on you, but we cannot. Because the more we meditate, the more we suffer, and the suffering deepens. So ideally, we would like to stop the suffering. But we cannot even stop. So let us see some more verses which bring out these points. So all this is going towards saying that how desperate, how much anxious the Gopis are to get the physical association of Sri Krishna. Meditating on him in the heart, in the mind, taking his name is not enough. It doesn't mean they are not doing that. They are doing that more intensely than even Brahmaji. But Brahmaji is satisfied in that. They are not satisfied in that. That means they are higher. Yes, Mataji. Yeah. There are, other than the Gopis, we can say everybody, or other than Vrajvasis, everybody is such an example. So, yeah. Nobody is expecting to see physical presence of Bhagavan. Now, Narad Muni, for example, in his previous life, he was so happy to see Lord Narayan in his heart for a moment. He was just wanting to see Narayan in the heart again, not physical. And he was lamenting that he could not see Lord or Bhagavan in his heart again. So that's one example. And there are so many other verses. There is a verse in 11th canto, 9th chapter. I can show. Yeah, it's actually right here. It's not an example of a devotee, but the concept is shown here. So this is Anushtup. Can you try? What is that? Dvaveva chintya. Chintya muktau paramananda plutau paramananda aplutau yo vimugdho jado balo yo gunebhyah param gataha. So the translation is, so the focus of the verse is paramananda aplutau. So Paramananda means same as Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. They are in Paramananda. So it says that there are two types of people in this world who are in Paramananda state. Param Ananda, which means there is no bliss beyond this. One is who are completely foolish. Vimudho, Jado, and Balo. Bala means, like a small child, like not one who has some intelligence. So after 6 months or after 1 year, he is no longer that. So before that, he is must happy, wherever you are is the toilet. Wherever you are, I mean, you don't have to, it's like in bliss, pretty much. Jada and Vimudha also. So the completely who are gone case, they are also blissful. Or gunebhyah param gatah. That means who have gone beyond the gunas, which is the material existence. The material world is made of the gunas. We are coincidentally on that chapter in Bhagavad Gita these days. Guna Atita. So these are the Guna Atitas. And these categories of people are what? Paramananda Aplutav. So they are always completely one with Paramananda. So such people, if Bhagwan also comes, they will probably they will not be, okay, we were already experiencing Bhagwan in the heart. Now we are experiencing outside. No much difference. Their goal is to experience Bhagwan inside. So that alone gives them the Param Ananda. Anyway, so we will go forward here. So again, here the mood of the gopis is shown here. So that how much they are feeling the separation. There is a big difference between physical presence and physical absence for the gopis. So that is brought out by none other than Sri Krishna himself. So this is 46th chapter of 10th canto, and that is what chapter? Where Lord Krishna is telling Uddhavji to go to Vrindavan and to pacify or to send a message to Nanda Maharaj, to Mother Yashoda and the gopis that I will come. So Uddhavji goes to Vrindavan in the next chapter, which is the 47th chapter. Or actually that is in the 46th chapter itself he goes, and the conversation with Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda happens in 46th chapter. Conversation with the gopis happens in 47th chapter. That is known as Bhramar Geet, or the song of the bees. So let us see here, Krishna is highlighting the mood of the gopis. So this is in Anushtup. Let us try to sing this. Mayita preyasam. Wait. One by one. And only in the room. On Zoom, it will become little problematic. Mayita preyasam peshthe durasthe gokulastriyaha smarantyonga vimuhyanti virahautka kanthya vihvala. So viharau utkanthya vihvala. So utkantha, with lot of utkantha. Vihvala means like vihval, like just like a fish out of water. That level of separation. So separation is viraha, utkanthya, because they are wanting to see Krishna. They are desperate to see Krishna. And vihvala means they are just like a fish out of water. They are just suffering out of separation. So, translation, my dear Uddhava, for those women of Gokula, I am the most cherished object of love. Mayita preyasam peshthe. Thus, when they remember me who are so far away, durasthe. So I am so this is because of the physical separation from the Gokula Striya. Now, obviously, they can remember Krishna in their mind. But here, obviously, what is being talked about is the physical separation. They are doing smarantyo. They are able to remember me. It's not that they are not remembering. Krishna knows they are remembering. Still, there is viraha utkantya vihvala. So thus, when they remember me, who is so far away, they are overwhelmed by the anxiety of separation. Overwhelmed vihvala, by the anxiety of utkantya, separation, viraha. Okay. So you can see here how the separation is felt by the gopis. And simply remembering is not helping. And there is this another beautiful verse which goes one step deeper. That how much they are suffering, and because of the suffering, they want to stop the suffering. So because of remembrance, suffering is occurring. To stop the suffering, what can you do? Stop the remembrance. But are they able to stop the remembrance? No. So this is now the gopis saying this. Gopis are saying this. They would like to stop the remembrance, but they cannot. And they are cursing Krishna. You are such a cheater, or what should we say? You're dhokebaz. क्या बोलेंगे उसे? Deceitful, or always, like all your nature is itself to abandon, not cheat, but abandon or leave those who have given you everything or who want to come to you. So your nature itself is like that. And we would like to stop associating with such a person. So let us recite this. This is in Malini meter. Malini is 15 syllables. So let us recite. No, one line, and little loudly. Mrigayuriva kapindra vivyadhe lubda dharma striyam akrita virupam strijitah kamayanam balim api balim atva veshtayadvankshavadyas tadalam alasita sakhyai dusyajas tatkathartha. So the first one, like a hunter, he cruelly shot the king of the monkeys with arrows. Right? Who is this?
Vali.
Vali. Okay, so just like a, mercilessly, he just from behind, he killed Vali. So that's not the maryada of a kshatriya. So he completely ruined the reputation of the kshatriyas by killing Vali from behind, from hiding. He hid behind a tree and killed. Then, because he was conquered, striyam akrita virupam striya jitaha. So he was stri jitaha. He was conquered kamayana by just being attached to one woman. He akrita means he desecrated or harmed another stri. Because he was conquered by a woman, he disfigured another woman who came to him with lusty desires. Who was this? Sri Ram. isn't it? Sri Ram, I mean, he is being accused. And then, even after consuming all the gifts of the 3 words of Bali Maharaj, he bound him up with ropes as if he were a crow. Bali Maharaj gave everything to Vamandev, and still Vamandev bound him up. Such a deceitful person. So let us give up all friendship with this dark complexioned boy. They want to give up the, but dustayajjas tat kathartha. Still, we want to give up friendship with this guy, which means we want to stop thinking about him, but we cannot. We cannot give up talking about him. So this is when Uddhavji heard this, he could realize how much devoted, how much. It's not that they are not thinking about Krishna. They are already thinking about Krishna fully and no one else, but that is not enough. So this is the position of the Gopis and the deep absorption of the Gopis in Sri Krishna. And their suffering is of separation. Their suffering is not of material existence. They have already given up material existence. Just the previous verse of this, I didn't want to include too many verses, but the previous to this, 10:46:4, Krishna says already that they have given up everything for me. So he knows that, but just in front of them, he doesn't demonstrate that. Behind the scene, he knows fully what they are going through, and this proves that he is simply enhancing the rasa. So they want to give up the meditation or the absorption in Krishna, but they just cannot, even if they want to. They cannot. So now we come back to the other question. So this is about physical separation versus physical union, or why doesn't mental union satisfy the desire? Why physical separation is? So we can see that in the Gopis. Then the other question is, why don't the Gopis go to Dwarka? And then they can have Krishna right in front of their eyes. So there, this third word that was highlighted, Geham Jusham api manasya udiyat sadanaha. Geham Jusham. Geha means household, and Jusham means engaged in or involved. So engaged in some activity. What kind of activity? Geham, household activities. So the Gopis say, hey, we are involved in household activities. So there is, our acharyas bring out why the Gopis don't go to Dwarka. So the top meaning, the higher or the superficial meaning is, we are, living in a household, we have husbands, we cannot just leave and come. Obviously, they have left everything mentally in their heart. They have no attachment to anything. But that is the outside meaning. There is a deeper meaning in this word, Geham Jusham. So why don't the Gopis go to Dwarka? So Krishna argues. So the Gopis want Krishna to come to Vrindavan. So Krishna, in this way, he argues, like this is through the commentaries. So it's as if he is arguing. This is not directly from Bhagavatam. So Krishna seems, the question is, the Purva Paksha, is that, why don't you all come to Dwarka and associate with me here? Not just temporarily, don't just visit, stay here permanently. No need to go back. I am the king. I can give so many palaces, not just one palace, as many as you want. You all can stay happily and see me every day. What's the problem? That is where the word Geham Jusham comes out, has lot of meaning behind it. So what it means, we are engaged in household affairs. That's the meaning, isn't it? So which means that the gopis are the queens engaged in household affairs? What do you think? Is there any example where Mother Rukmini is, cleaning the kitchen, wiping the dishes, making various dishes? No, because she's a queen. But the gopis are like villagers. They don't have all these elaborate queen, they are not maharanis. So that's just the physical aspect, but the mood is that of not being a maharani. Their mood is that being of a villager. And Dwarka Krishna is in Maharaja mood, Maharaj Bhav. And the gopis don't want Maharaj. The gopis want the village Krishna. So that is why they want Krishna to come to Vraj. So it is, now one can argue that, okay, at least, something is better than nothing. You want physical association, you want to see him physically. So why don't you go to Dwarka? Why you are forcing him to come to Vrindavan? At least you will get something, no? Something is better than nothing. Hari Parshad Prabhu says this, no blind uncle is better than no uncle. So something you will get, no? But that is not the point. So here we have to understand the bhav or the rasa aspect. The place, the surroundings, the ambience, the environment, all that sets the desired mood. हिंदी में कहते हैं ना चोरी चोरी मिलना. How will you do chori chori? Chori chori milna means, what will we say? In English? Secretly, yes, secretly meeting. It's not okay to meet openly. So that will not be possible in Dwarka. And there is that whole excitement of those secret meetings, how all the gopis, they try to arrange the secret meetings, and then they meet. And even with Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, that beating or scolding, imagine if Nanda Maharaj is there or Mother Yashoda, can she do that to Maharaj Krishna? She cannot do that. So that whole ambience and the environment, it's just not present. And these are called as excitants or uddipan vibhavas. They enhance just the fact that internally the gopis had this feeling, or the Vrajvasis had these feelings towards Krishna, is not enough unless the surroundings are also conducive to enhance that mood. And surroundings are so important. So they enhance those innermost longings, not only of the gopis. It's not just, so everywhere, wherever the gopis want something, what is the purpose? Number one, please Krishna. So they know it's not for we would miss those secret meetings. That is the least of their concerns. They know that Krishna would not relish those coming with a whole, entourage like a Maharaj. He wouldn't relish that. So they say that, and he also wouldn't relish if they came to Dwarka, even though rhetorically he can say, why don't you come? It's like him asking, have you forgotten me? It's a useless question. It's a meaningless question. It doesn't have any proper answer. It's a irresponsible question. So Krishna asking, why don't you all come to Dwarka, is not really a correct question. Even Krishna doesn't ask that. We may think that why doesn't Krishna ask them? Why don't the gopis agree? But he would never ask. So all these are moods that enhance those innermost longings, primarily of Sri Krishna. And the gopis simply are aligned with Krishna's mood. And therefore, it is there only means only in Vraj. There means Vraj. Only where their hearts experience that maximum rasa. Where Radha, Sri Radha and Sri Krishna only experience the maximum rasa. And it's all about experiencing the maximum rasa in Vrindavan, nowhere else. And that is why Krishna must come to Vraj, not the other way around. The gopis cannot go to Dwarka. And that is why after killing of Dantavakra, Sri Krishna comes to Vraj. Okay? And this is proven in this beautiful verse. This is one of the very last verses of Sri Padyavali, a collection of verses by Sri Rupa Goswami. And it is included in Chaitanya Charitamrit Antya līlā. So I have taken the verse from there and the translation by Srila Prabhupada from there as well. And this verse, who is singing this verse? Very famous verse, Yaha Kaumara Haraha. This verse is being sung by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Essentially, this verse is saying that I want to be with you, with Srimati Radharani in Vraj. That's the mood. That's not what this verse directly is saying. We'll come to that in a second. So this verse was sung by none other than Sri Krishna or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna. And this verse was sung at what time? Anybody knows? That is true, but at a specific time, at a specific event, at the Rath Yatra, Jagannath Rath Yatra, which used to happen annually. So on one of those occasions, and what is the Rath Yatra representing? The Rath Yatra is representing the travel of Sri Krishna from Dwarka to Vrindavan. So opportune moment. It's like, when you're going on a vacation or when you're going to India, many people go to India to meet their friends, relatives. Even before you even land in India, there is this whole mood is setting up. I'm going to meet my, so-and-so, my parents. Many people go to meet, or whoever there may be, or people you have not met in a long time. So that mood is visible here in the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is coming out in this verse. But this verse is not directly, again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna is very cryptic. So he doesn't mention this. This is actually a verse which is just from, I forget the original source which he is taking, Kavya something. It's basically from that time, it's just regular materialistic poetry. So actually people were a little surprised why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, such a big sannyasi, is singing this like film song. Imagine one of our Guru Maharaj or Maharaj singing film song. Hare, ye kya ho gaya? So like that. So let's recite this beautiful verse and then we will unpack little more. Okay. So this is all about, remember the topic is the relishment that Sri Krishna feels in Vrindavan cannot be felt anywhere else. That is the meaning, or that is the sort of the mood. So this verse is in Shardul Vikriditam meter, which is the same as Shad Goswami Ashtakam meter. So we will recite. Very, very famous verse, worth memorizing. Yah kaumarah rasa eva hivara ta eva chaitrakshapas. Techonmilitamalati surabhaya praudha kadambanila. Sa chaivasmi tathapi tatra surata vyapara līlā vidho. Revarodhasi vetasi tarutale chetah samutkanthate. So the meaning is just very little worldly, but you can think as Sri Krishna is thinking like this. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is singing and he is just okay. That very personality who stole my heart during my youth is now again my master. These are the same moonlit nights of the month of Chaitra. The same fragrance of Malati flowers is there, and the same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest. In our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover. Yet, still my mind is not happy here. I am eager to go back to that place on the bank of the Reva under the Vetasi tree. That is my desire. So all these things need to be present for our Jugala, our divine couple, to experience the maximum rasa. So yes, the persons may be there, they may be together, but without this entire setup, it's not meaningful. And that is why the union of Sri Krishna and the Gopis occurs only in Vraja. So, you can mute yourself. So, people were a little surprised. How come Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is singing this kind of verse? And they couldn't understand what is going on. But Sri Rupa Goswami understood his mind completely. And he composed another verse, which is the next verse in Padyavali, which is also present in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, where now he is talking about Sri Krishna and Sri Radha. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw this verse, so this is Sri Radha definitely. I think the previous one also is Sri Radha only. Yeah. So this verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So he composed this verse. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw this verse, he was very surprised that this is exactly what I was feeling like when I was singing that verse. How did you recognize, or how did you read my mind? How did you get in my mind so fully? So Sri Rupa Goswami is the only personality, or is the personality who understands the mind of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fully. And that is why all the writings of Sri Rupa Goswami are considered to reflect 100% the mood, the mission, the teachings, everything of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So anything that Sri Rupa Goswami writes, one can consider as if it is coming directly from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If he were to review what Sri Rupa Goswami has written, he would say, this is what I would have written. Not a single word would change. So this is the verse that was composed by Sri Rupa Goswami, 100% approved by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying that this is exactly what Sri Radha was thinking. So let us sing this verse, which is in Shikharini meter. Priyah soyam Krishna Sahachari Kurukshetra Milita. Tathaham Saradha Tadidam Ubhayo Sangama Sukham. Tathapyahaman Madhura Murali Panchamajushe. Manome Kalindi Pulina Vipinaya Sprihayati. So this is composition of Sri Rupa Goswami. And this is considered to be, actually, you see here, Priyah Soyam Krishna Sahachari Kurukshetra Militas. So this is the response of Srimati Radharani to Krishna in Kurukshetra. To what question? Question is, why don't you come to Dwarka? That question was not physically asked, but the meaning is, that's how Shastra is written. The question is there, is understood, and then there is the response. So the translation is, my dear friend, now I have met my very old and dear friend Krishna on this field of Kurukshetra. So why can't we go from here to Dwarka? I am the same Radharani, and now we are meeting together. It is very pleasant. This is nice. And even in Dwarka, it would be nice. But I would still like to go to the bank of the Yamuna, beneath the trees of the forest there. I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute. So Krishna never brings the flute out of Vrindavan. So flute is missing. So in Dwarka, what will Srimati Radharani do without flute? So I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute playing the fifth note within that forest of Vrindavan. So this is her response, saying, no, I cannot come. You have to come here. All right. So that is the importance. So that brings up, or that answers the question, that whole mood, that environment, the ambience is extremely important for that meeting between Sri Radha and Sri Krishna. Yes, Mataji. No, Vrindavan Krishna. On the field of Kurukshetra. So what's your question? Yeah, so maybe this is not a response to Krishna. This is what she is expressing to someone, to her friend, as a response to Krishna's question. This is why I declined. But the point is, it is expressing her mood of why she declined. Okay. So going back to, again, this whole thing started 1 year ago with our Kurukshetra discussion. So again, we'll go back to this verse. Geham jusham api manasya udiyat sadanaha. That, but we are village ladies engaged in household work. We just pray that your lotus feet, always we are able to meditate in our mind on your lotus feet. This is what they are saying. But essentially they are saying Geham Jusham, that you come here. I hope that whole understanding has come out. We are village people. You were also once village boy. And that village mood is what we need, not the palatial mood. Palatial mood, there are security guards, this, that, everything. It's like a tight, that's not where we want to be. There are no kunjas there. What will Krishna do? What will the Gopis do? All these things are not there. Yamuna is not there. Flute is not there. Peacocks are not there. So many things are missing. So what will we do there? So you come here. That is the meaning. And which verse is this? 1082:48. So now comes another verse from Bhagavatam, which we have never discussed so far. Never. Again, everything rests on one word. And that is the very next verse. 83.1. So, in this verse, Krishna says, okay, I will come. Directly to the Gopis, to Srimati Radharani. So, let us recite this. So, next chapter. That's it. The agreement of Sri Krishna that, okay, I will come. Again, that is not, those are not the direct words, but this is like, it's like that viveśa-alaṅkṛtāṁ purīm. Ultimately, thoda ghum phir ke, like half an hour grocery takes 2 hours. So, met an old friend and talked and went and did, some other went to the bookstore, maybe make a trip to the office, do some work, whatever it is, finally came home. So, same way, in one word, a lot is hidden. So let us recite this verse. Shri Shuka Uvacha Tathanugrahya Bhagavan Gopinam sa Gurur Gatihi Yudhishthira atha prichat Sarvanscha suhrido vyayam. So remember, he is in Kurukshetra, and this is 83rd chapter. 82nd chapter was Kurukshetra Milan. So the conversation between Sri Krishna and Sri Radha occurs. She says, no, we cannot come. You have to come. Geham Jushe. In that Geham Jushe, that whole conversation occurs. Basically, what we discussed, that you have to come to Vrindavan, why, and all those things that we discussed from Padyavali. So all that is encapsulated within that one word. And then Sri Krishna says that Tat Anugrahya Bhagavan. Anugraha means his blessing or his mercy. So he says, okay, Anugraha. He shows his mercy on Srimati Radharani, saying, okay. When he says okay, means I will come. So that Anugraha words and a word encompasses this acceptance or his agreement that I will come. Gopi Nam Sa Gurur Gatihi. That he is the Guru of the Gopis. So Guru is saying okay, which means he will do it, or he accepts. What does a Guru say? One of the main events when Guru says okay is when does Guru say okay? To accept a disciple, exactly. Disciple says, please take me in your shelter. Guru says, okay, I accept you. And then in that sense, I mean, we have to put our effort and all that. But if in the general sense, then it is the Guru's responsibility to take us to Krishna. Now, that doesn't mean like don't get me wrong, that we wash our hands and make Guru our Sarathi, I will sit lazily and now he has to drive the car and take me to Krishna. Not in that sense, but in a sense, we are putting our life in Guru's hands and the Guru then takes us to Krishna. In this case, the Guru has said yes, and he is Krishna himself. And therefore, he agrees to take the gopis to himself. So which means that he says yes to the gopis and he will ensure that he will come to Vrindavan and meet with the gopis over there in Vrindavan. So Shukdev Goswami said, thus Lord Krishna, the spiritual master of the gopis, so this is Guru saying yes, and the very purpose of their life, which means Guru shows the path to the objective or the prayojana, that which is to be attained, which is also Krishna. Guru is Krishna, and the attainment is also Krishna. And Krishna shows his mercy, which means he accepts to do this, which means he says, yes, I will come to Vraj, and then you and I can have our wonderful pastimes of union after such a long separation. And then, after saying yes, then he goes back and meets with all the other people who have assembled in Kurukshetra. Pandavas have come, and all the other kings have come. So many people have come, as we studied in 82nd chapter many months ago. Then he goes about and does his other meetings. And the rest of the chapter continues with various types of discussions. The gopis are now, they are out of the sort of the main theme of the chapter. So this one piece, Shukdev Goswami decided to put it into next chapter. Krishna saying yes. So again, so many things are hidden in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which our acharyas bring out for our relishment. So we'll end today's discussion here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Any comments or questions? Yes, Prabhuji.
Padyavali 382, you mentioned that the words by or it was composed by Chaitanya.
Which one are you talking about? 382 or 383? 382 is a already existing verse. I'm forgetting I had written it down. Some kavya. I found it on one reputed website. I can go and check and I can let you know. But it is from a pre-existing some kavya or some poetry, some material poetry. So that is the original source of this verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But in his mood, he liked the mood of the verse and he sang the verse to hide his feelings from the general public, so that the public will think this sannyasi has lost it. This sannyasi is becoming materialistic. So that they don't understand his mood, to hide his mood, he sang this. But his most intimate devotees, one of them being Sri Rupa Goswami, understood, and he brought out that mood in the next verse. All right. Yeah. So the question is, what is the significance of the fifth note here? What is called as the Murali Pancham Jushe. Yeah, I can't recall right now, but I also remember that there was, my limit stops here. Then we have to go to the real person. I'm a fake person, so. So the question was, what is the significance of the fifth note? So I said, Hari Parshad Prabhu is the person who can answer these things. And but my wife recollects, I think, what he told, that I don't know if you heard it on the microphone here. No, that typically she said, and what Hari Parshad Prabhu said is that this is a note which kind of is most aligned with sort of the romantic mood. And that is one part. And also when the cuckoo sings, maybe it is also the fifth note. So it's that sense, and that is reflecting the mood of Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna. So very deep topics, and these topics have nothing to do with Dantavakra, but I also want to keep it hidden. So the title is Killing of Dantavakra. But this chapter is only 20 verses. I'm thinking there are all these questions. If you see that questions slide, so I'm thinking if I'm able to do the study, I'll cover all these questions in detail. Everything within Killing of Dantavakra. So somebody who can see, there are 7 discussions on Dantavakra, then one will get potentially curious, and yeah, so what it's all under Killing of Dantavakra. Okay. Anything else? All right. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for such a beautiful class, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very, very much relishment.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Beautiful
Krishna.
class. Really
Krishna.
beautiful. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Record.